Good morning, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here. Again, my name is Danielle Nierenberg. I'm president of Food Tank. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all today to the first Food Tank Summit in Boston. A really big thanks to the Friedman School for collaborating with Food Tank. I'm especially grateful to Dean Mozaffarian, to Dr. Will Masters and Bill Dean. I'd like you to join me in giving them a round of applause for helping us. They're fantastic. I also want to give a big thanks to Catalina Lopez Ospina from the mayor's office for joining us. She did a fantastic job of really talking about the energy that's in Boston around the food system. I'm also very thankful to our organizational partner, Oxfam America. We're grateful to have their expertise here today and are delighted to share their very important work around global food security. This theme of investing in discovery is something that Will Masters approached Food Tank about, and I'm really excited that that's what we're focusing on. This theme is obviously very important to the Friedman School in so many ways. They're investing in students and researchers who are studying the best ways to improve nutrition and nutrient density, create more environmentally sustainable farming practices, improve the economic sustainability of crop production, and create policies that will make agriculture better for farmers, eaters, and businesses. What we've tried to do with this summit is bring together some of the most important and interesting voices who are working on these issues. Not only academics and professors, but also groundbreaking innovators, including farmers, chefs, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. Again, I'm really honored to be here. Coming back to Friedman is like coming home for me. I earned my master's degree in agriculture, food, and environment here about 1 million years ago. And that was after, as the dean said, after returning from the Dominican Republic, where I served as a Peace Corps volunteer. Studying here was one of the best ways to not only get over culture shock, but really to put what I learned on the ground working with teachers and farmers in the DR into really concrete action and could find a path forward in my career. What I learned here eventually helped me to found Food Tank with Bernard Pollock, our board chair. And while I'm not a nutritionist or a scientist or a farmer, what I learned at Friedman is really the value of storytelling and helping people understand why food, agriculture, and the environment are so closely linked. I learned the value of doing on-the-ground research and talking directly to people who are working in fields, laboratories, classrooms, kitchens, boardrooms, and town halls. I learned the importance of understanding science and valuing it, and I learned how to write about complex issues in the food system and to make sure that we're not only talking about data and statistics, although those things are important, but that we're really putting a human face to these issues. I think, by this point, we all understand that preaching to the choir is not the best recipe for change. And our hope is that by bringing together different voices, we can have some uncomfortable conversations that will really help lead us to making the food system better for everyone, whether they live in Boston, Botswana, or Bangladesh. We really need better ways of growing more nutritious foods. We need better ways of protecting biodiversity and preserving indigenous foods and food cultures. We need better ways of educating eaters, especially young eaters, about the importance of cooking and conviviality. And we need better ways to address the issues that prevent eaters from having access to affordable, healthy, and sustainably grown foods. And this is just one of many conversations that Food Tank will be having over the next several months. As many of you know, for the past 3 years, we've partnered with Kathleen Merrigan, a former member of the Friedman faculty at the George Washington University, to have Food Tank summits. And in February, our summit there really focused on highlighting recommendations for the new administration and the new Congress. And we sincerely hope that we'll listen to the voices that spoke at that conference. One of our speakers was the celebrity chef and food advocate, Jose Andres. And he said that no matter what political side chefs are on, they have to be at the table and not only feed people in their restaurants, but also take action to be agents of change for feeding both the hungry at home and also internationally. That is the kind of action and advocacy that will move the food system forward. Jose also said that food is a great way to have a narrative about many of the issues that we're facing today, including immigration, conflict, and climate change, and that food can really help us find solutions moving forward. And that's, again, what Food Tank is trying to do by convening these summits, to tell the stories that will inspire all of us to make change in our own communities. One of the reasons that we were excited about having this summit in Boston, in addition to working with the Friedman School, is that Boston is really at the epicenter of science, innovation, education, and entrepreneurship in many, many different ways. Science, as we all know, is being attacked on a lot of different levels right now, and academics are on the front line of that battle. And for millions of farmers and eaters around the globe, climate change is not a myth or an alternative fact. It's a reality that they have to face every day. And if we want to increase food security, prevent micronutrient deficiencies, prevent obesity, protect natural water resources, preserve seeds, prevent food loss and food waste, and protect biodiversity, we need to invest more in professors, teachers, and students so that they can make those discoveries. And because of the current political climate, cities like Boston will be taking the lead, developing innovative initiatives and projects that can be scaled up and scaled out across the globe. And again, this conversation doesn't end today for Food Tank. We have summits happening in Sao Paulo, Brazil in August of this year, and New York City in September. Today, here in Boston, we have brought together 40 speakers and experts. These are problem solvers who are working as farmers, economists, scientists, activists, business leaders, and policymakers. These people are thinkers and doers, and they are here to share their knowledge and expertise and really also learn from all of you in the room and those of you watching online. We don't want any canned speeches, however. We really want blunt and honest conversation, again, both on stage and online. We strongly encourage everyone to really join the discussion and use the hashtag #FoodTank. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter comments using that hashtag will appear on this screen right here, as you're already seeing, and we will be taking questions from our online audience. There are thousands of people who will be watching throughout the day at foodtank.com and Facebook Live and via our Instagram Live and Twitter Live feeds as well. At our DC Summit, more than 60,000 people watched online, and so I'm really hoping that all of you can help us break that record today. To do that, I need to ask you a big favor. It's easy, but you have to do it. You have to take out your cell phones and your laptops right now. I'll just wait here. I don't feel awkward staring at all of you, so I am very patient. Go ahead. So I want you to find the Food Tank page on Facebook. It's pretty easy. It's facebook.com/thefoodtank. I'll just keep waiting while you all do it. So, you know, it's not hard to find. And again, I don't feel awkward at all just standing here waiting for y'all to do it. So once you've done it, I want you to click share on the post with the live stream pinned at the top of your personal Facebook page. And while you're at it, add it to any pages that you manage for other organizations, for your grandparents, for your friends. Just make sure that everyone has this link. You can include a note about why you're here, why you love the Friedman School, why you like Boston, if you like my dress, if you think my hair looks terrible. Feel free to comment. I do feel a little bad, peer pressuring you, but this is very, very important, and I'll tell you why. It's because Food Tank doesn't have thousands of dollars or really any dollars for advertising, and so this is our way of hacking the Facebook newsfeed algorithm, really through good old-fashioned collective action. For those of you who don't use Facebook, you can also share the link to foodtank.com, where we are streaming the event, and you can promote it on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, or however else you communicate. You can send a postcard or put it on a carrier pigeon. Whatever works for you, let's get it out there. We had the hashtag Food Tank trending nationwide at our summit in DC at George Washington. So I hope we can get Boston trending as well, but that really depends on all of you and doing it. So make sure that you're doing it, because if you don't, I will seek you out later and harass you until you do. I mean, that's just what will happen. Thank you for indulging me. I really appreciate it. I just want to give you a sense of what the day will look like. Each panel is roughly a 1-hour discussion with time for questions from both the audience here in person and, again, also online. People with questions will have about 30 seconds to state their name, their organization, and then their actual question. And I say actual question because I don't want you all to give a presentation or a comment. We want actual questions. And I'm kind of a bully about this because I want people in the room to be able to ask as many questions as possible. And I know many of you by now have seen the movie Beauty and the Beast. And I actually do turn into the beast if you go over your time limit. So don't make me do that. We will start off the day by having a conversation about the future of global food security with Ray Offenheiser, the president of Oxfam America. That will be followed by our first panel, which will focus on the true costs and benefits of food production and consumption, and how to help businesses, producers, policymakers, and eaters make better decisions around the food system. The second panel will be about this idea of farming differently and focusing and how that over the past 50 years, 60 years, we have really focused on quantity over quality, and that has had some disastrous consequences. The panel will highlight regenerative and resilient practices that help improve soils, mitigate climate change, and improve equality and social justice. Our third panel is presented by our friends at Naked Juice, and will focus on the question of whether eaters are becoming nutrient dense, and how do brands, policymakers, and industry leaders help to better inform the public and create a future generation that understands the value of food. Our fourth panel will focus on creating access to healthy, affordable food and different ways communities are finding solutions, including through food recovery. And our final panel will focus on farm and food innovations and some of the ways that entrepreneurs are improving how people grow, cook, and eat food. It's a really busy day, but I'm thrilled you all are here to join us and offer your own perspectives. I'm just going to take a few minutes to thank our Food Tank staff. Bernard Pollock, who I mentioned before, is our board chair and our chief of strategy. I blame these summits on him because he really understands the importance of bringing people together to sort of hash out ideas and conflicts. Vanessa Botero Lowry is our Director of Operations and an incredible force of nature. I truly could not run the day-to-day of Food Tank without her and her expertise. Emily Payne is our content manager and an amazing writer and thinker and has helped really improve Food Tank's content. Ashley Portman and Dan Stein make sure that our social media really blows up the internet. Elisa Upholzer is our graphic designer, and she couldn't be here today, but she makes everything we do look really pretty. McKenna Hayes has been instrumental in making today happen as a production assistant with Patrice Garrity from Buzz Productions, and Patrice just really makes sure that everything goes smoothly. I also want to thank the 80-plus volunteers who are here today. They're wearing all black. Most of them are Tufts students. I've had the chance to meet several of them, and I'm so excited about the ideas that they're coming up with, and their energy is just incredible. And I also want to thank the Tufts facilities and maintenance staff for all of the hard work that they're putting in today to make this happen. I'm also very grateful to our Food Tank Board of Directors and our advisory group. You'll see many of them speaking at our summits. Today, we have the pleasure and honor of having Sarah Burnett from Panera with us. She's been a great board member. She also provided the delicious breakfast you had today from Panera, so we're really thankful for her. I'm going to take another few minutes to thank the sponsors and organizations who've helped put on today. First, the Barilla Center for Food and Nutrition Foundation, who I've worked with for several years, and they really share the same values as Food Tank. Blue Apron, Edible Boston, Cliff Bar, Fair Trade USA, the Food and Environment Reporting Network, Branch Food, Sweet Green, Vera Roasting Coffee, Nature's Path Organic, Kind Bar, Naked Juice, Nyman Ranch, Organic Valley, What's Good, again, Panera Bread, To Market, Crade Food Services Corporation, and Veg Fund. My next thanks goes to the group of journalists that we brought together from Boston to moderate each of our panels. I'd like to thank Deborah Becker, senior correspondent at WBUR, Kira Butler, a senior editor from Mother Jones magazine, Tamar Haspel, a columnist from the Washington Post, Lindsay Coulter, a healthcare writer from the Boston Herald, Corby Coomer, a senior editor from the Atlantic, and Janelle Nanos from the Boston Globe. These writers have been, investigating and researching many of the issues that we'll talk about today, and I'm grateful for their continued work on making sure that we all know more about food and agriculture. Before I start, I just want to remind you that we're using the hashtag Food Tank on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and you can send your questions via those platforms, or you can also email us directly at questions@foodtank.com or to my email, Danielle@foodtank.com. And so just to end this introduction, I'd like to share a quote from your Senator, Elizabeth Warren, who said, "If you don't have a seat at the table, you're likely on the menu." And although she wasn't referring to food, I think this still holds true. We all need a seat at the table, and I'm so grateful that you could come to this table to participate today. Thank you so much. Thank you.